Hello and welcome to this News 9 live with me, Ashish Parekh. In the digital age, data privacy and security is like gold dust, and companies across the globe are spending millions in safeguarding the data of their users. But time and again, cyber thugs find a chink in the armor and sneak past the firewalls. Talking about India in particular, the Personal Data Protection Bill, which protects and regulates data sharing practices, is stuck in the parliament, and therefore there is a lot of concern and debate about data sharing practices in a country which is seeing a rise in digital transactions and also the number of users every passing day. In the latest, the Supreme Court has now sought responses from the Centre, RBI, the National Payments Corporation of India, based on a PIL which allegedly spoke about a breach of financial data security of Indians using the Unified Payments Interface, I beg your pardon, services offered by big players like Amazon Pay, Google Pay, and also it challenged permission to WhatsApp to start UPI services. Because remember, WhatsApp is also planning to start UPI services in India after Brazil. It has already started it in Brazil, but there are a lot of regulation issues in India. That is why it's not been able to do that. However, in the latest, like I've been telling you, a bench of Chief Justice S.A. Bobde and Justices A.S. Bopanna and V. Ramasubramaniam entertained the PIL which has been filed by CPI Rajya Sabha member Binoy Vishwam, which alleged that the tech giants breached RBI regulation and also the existing law which mandates the big players to have their servers located in India for the storage of financial data and also not to transfer any data from India outside. In fact, Mr. Vishwam was referring to an April 2019 circular mandating entire data related to payment systems to be stored inside India itself. Now, these allegations are also that since the UPI providers, especially WhatsApp and Google Pay, failed to follow the deadline of October 2018, like I just told you about, that is about the storing of data and all of these deadlines, the RBI, in order to help WhatsApp and Google Pay, as per allegations, completely disregarded the security of financial data of Indian users and toned down the April 18th circular by issuing FAQs and also permitting processing of all payment transactions abroad, including domestic transactions. To speak to us more about this, the legal entanglement and also all of these regulatory issues, I have with me our expert for the day, Mr. Ranganath Mysore, who's a cyber law expert and the founder of Roots Cyber Law Firm. First of all, Mr. Ranganath, my question to you is, there are very serious allegations. What's the harm for these companies to store data in a server in India, given the fact that all of these companies that are being alleged are also putting the sensitive financial data of Indian users at huge risk, especially when there have been already allegations against them about abusing dominance and also several other allegations in this particular regard. So, is this safe for us to allow these companies which compromise data, among other things, to store data of Indian users abroad?
Yeah. See, to answer your question, one is on the privacy part. When we talk about privacy, there are certain sensitive personal information regarding the health information and financial information and various others. Now we are talking on the UPI. Yeah. It's been categorized into the financial information of an individual, exactly. Right? So, as far as the privacy law and privacy bill is concerned, one is data localization, what we talk about, right? The data localization will tell that the data should be residing in the country. So, these data should not go out of our border. That's the main concern. Exactly. Now, even WhatsApp was trying to come up with the UPI, and there was a spyware attack called as Pegasus some time back, where that's where it took a back step for WhatsApp to come up with the UPI form. Yeah. Now, these are the new trends which is happening in the past few years. And RBI has already given a notification regarding this in the year 2018 itself in order to safeguard the data. But how far the data audit has taken place, that's something is not yet known. For example, this NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India, in their procedural guidelines, they also tell on the data audit. Exactly. That has to be given by the UPI service providers. So in the data audit, it can be figured out whether how data is handled. That's one thing. Now the challenge is these guys like Google Pay or Amazon or whoever, they are having huge servers out of India, like maybe in Singapore or various other places. Now this will be the additional cost and impact for them to bring the data for the data localization in order to build the servers. Exactly. Yeah. So that in that way, certain things are going mishap. So in that way, this PIL will help to frame these rules before this privacy bill will be passed.
Exactly. Also, Mr. Rangnath, the other question that arises is, of course, you're talking about the issue with servers being abroad and the storage of all of the information abroad. It's easier for other governments or even other entities to access all of this data. But the question that arises here is, WhatsApp sells itself on the idea that it does not really store any sort of a data on any server. Everything is there on your mobile phone and nobody can access it. So is WhatsApp also coming under this purview, or will WhatsApp be actually storing all of this information on an external server as well, unlike what it does with the messages?
No, WhatsApp, it tells its end-to-end encrypted messages, where WhatsApp will not have the control.
Okay.
But there are certain spywares, like as I said, in the recent past we have witnessed the spyware attack on WhatsApp, which compromised millions of data.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's where we need to take a step back and think on the security aspect. That's one part. Second thing is, how about the data localization when it comes to the financial matters? Like when I'm giving my bank details, when I'm giving my authorizations, will that not be misused if it's going out of the border? So the law of the land or the privacy thing, which we tell is the data localization, so that we can access in case of any misuse of data, it is easily accessible. That's one.
Okay.
In case of cyber crimes, suppose if the server is located out of India, then going there and getting the information will be a cumbersome job.
Exactly.
Right? So that will help in a bigger extent to handle certain cybercrime cases. Yeah.
Okay. Also, one important question that I had for you, Mr. Rangnath, is that the CEOs of these particular companies that the SC has also spoken about, because yes, now that the Supreme Court is speaking about this particular matter, it's becoming very serious. So the CEOs of all of these companies were directed to testify in a hearing with the Judiciary Committee of the US Congress. Can something similar happen in India as well? Can all of these companies be pulled up in India? The intermediaries that we address them as, can they be pulled up by the government to make sure that they take their task seriously and also make sure that the data of Indians is not compromised?
Absolutely. We have intermediary rules that is playing for a different purpose. Okay. Now, these UPIs are taking place. Definitely, there should be a committee to monitor, like this NPCI, which is the overall head of the body. So they should be. There are certain guidelines also for that matter. So exactly. We should also bring across those mandatory guidelines and the audit part, which I told, so that can be monitored by that committee.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mr. Rangnath, for joining us on this live interaction. That was our cyber law expert clearly explaining all of these, problems that are there with, data practices in India, because one of the most key crucial parts of having any sort of a digital or data sharing activity going ahead and regulating it is the fact that we need to have a personal data protection bill, which a lot of countries like the United States and several other countries that have a lot of activity online are having. But at the end of the day, in India, you do not really have any sort of a legal framework and no clarity as to how much of a data can these companies share, what exactly can they do with your data. So in case you are a user who's going ahead and sharing your data with a particular company, you are having some sort of a digital transactions, there is absolutely no proper rule. It's a complete gray area as to what exactly can be done with your data, and all your data is being stored in servers outside India, which means that it is at a risk of being exposed to cyber criminals, which also at the end of the day is putting your hard-earned money at risk. So clearly this is something that is a very serious development and needs to be taken note of by the government of India. Do let us know what you guys think in the comment section below, and also do not forget to like, share and subscribe to News9 Digital. Thanks a lot for watching.